Join me as I challenge myself to recite an emotional prayer that I believe can change my life forever, and maybe yours too. When we open ourselves to something greater, a moment of transformation can take place. Imagine standing on a cliff's edge, your heart pounding, and you take that leap not into the unknown, but into the profound connection of faith. This challenge isn't about perfection, but about presence. It's a journey where vulnerability and hope meet, creating a space for true healing. Think about a time when you felt on the verge of change, but needed one final nudge to move forward. This moment can be the beginning of something extraordinary. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I believe has the power to create profound change in our lives. It's something that I've struggled with myself, and that's the concept of emotional prayer. It's a way of connecting with a higher power, with the universe, or with ourselves on a deeper level. And I truly believe that it has the potential to bring about transformation in our lives if we allow it to. Struggling with emotional prayer often feels like staring at a blank canvas, unsure of what to paint. It's intimidating to confront the rawness of our feelings. Yet there lies the magic of this practice. By daring to speak from our hearts, we bridge the gap between isolation and connection. Emotional prayer isn't just a tool. It's a dialogue with the essence of existence, whether you name it God, the universe, or your innermost self. And in that dialogue, transformation doesn't just become possible. It becomes inevitable. Close your eyes and imagine the feeling of finally being heard, not just by another person, but by the entire fabric of the universe. That's what emotional prayer offers, a profound acknowledgement of your existence and your truth. There are so many of us who feel hopeless, disconnected, and lost. We wake up every morning feeling like we're just going through the motions, without any sense of purpose or direction. We try to shake off the feeling of being stuck, but it's hard to ignore when it feels like everything around us is just falling apart. We may even try to fill the void with temporary distractions, but deep down, we know that's not the solution. We crave something more, something that will give us a sense of fulfillment and peace. Hopelessness is a quiet thief, stealing not just our joy, but also our sense of belonging. The weight of going through the motions often stems from a deeper hunger, one that temporary distractions like scrolling social media or binge-watching shows cannot satisfy. Emotional prayer becomes a lifeline, pulling us out of this fog of disconnection. By acknowledging our feelings and asking for guidance or peace, we spark a flicker of hope that grows with each moment of honesty. The craving for fulfillment isn't a flaw, it's a call to action. Think about standing in the middle of a desert, parched and weary, when suddenly you stumble upon an oasis. That's the experience of rediscovering purpose through prayer. It quenches a thirst you didn't know was so deep. Many of us have been taught that prayer is just about asking for things or saying a quick thank you before meals. But I believe that prayer can be so much more than that. It can be a way of expressing our emotions, of being honest with ourselves and with a higher power. It can be a way of letting go of our fears, our doubts, and our insecurities. It can be a way of connecting with ourselves on a deeper level and finding a sense of inner peace that we never thought possible. Prayer, stripped of expectations and rituals, becomes a mirror of our souls. It's not just about expressing gratitude or making requests. It's about creating a sacred space where our fears and doubts can coexist with our hopes and dreams. When we pray with emotion, we aren't just speaking, we are aligning. We let go of the weight we carry, not by forgetting it, but by transforming it into something lighter. Through this, prayer evolves from a routine into a profound practice of self-discovery and healing. Imagine holding a tightly clenched fist, full of worries and fears. Now, picture yourself slowly opening it, releasing those burdens one by one. That's what emotional prayer does. It unclenches the soul. I know that it's hard to imagine that something as simple as prayer can have such a profound impact on our lives. But I've seen it happen time and time again. I've seen people who were struggling to find purpose suddenly find a new sense of direction and passion. I've seen people who were weighed down by anxiety and fear suddenly feel a sense of peace and calm. And I've seen people who felt disconnected from themselves and others suddenly feel a deep sense of connection and love. The simplicity of prayer hides its strength. It's often in the gentlest acts, a kind word, a soft touch, a whispered hope, that the deepest changes occur. Emotional prayer works this way, seeping into the cracks of our most broken places and offering a balm. It doesn't erase our struggles, but it shifts our perspective, helping us find meaning amid chaos. Witnessing such transformations, whether in ourselves or others, reaffirms that within our vulnerability lies our greatest strength. Picture a storm-ravaged landscape, with the first signs of green shoots sprouting from the earth. That's the quiet miracle of emotional prayer. It plants seeds of hope even in life's harshest terrains. One of the most powerful things about emotional prayer is that it allows us to be honest with ourselves and with a higher power. It allows us to express our emotions, our fears, and our doubts in a way that's authentic and raw. It allows us to let go of our masks and to be vulnerable in a way that's both liberating and empowering. And it allows us to connect with ourselves on a deeper level and to find a sense of inner peace that we never thought possible. Honesty is a rare gift we often withhold from ourselves, but emotional prayer opens the door to it. In this space of vulnerability, we find liberation, not from the trials we face, but from the weight of pretending to be unaffected by them. Stripping off the mask doesn't reveal weakness, it reveals strength. Through emotional prayer, we not only acknowledge our fears, but invite healing into those spaces. This act of honesty becomes a bridge, connecting us to a deeper version of ourselves and, in doing so, to a higher power that embraces us as we are. Imagine breaking free from a heavy suit of armor you've worn for years. With every piece removed, you feel lighter, stronger, and more capable. That's the freedom emotional prayer offers. I want to share a story with you that illustrates the power of emotional prayer. It's a story about a woman who was struggling to come to terms with the loss of her child. She was consumed by grief and felt like she was drowning in her emotions. But one day, she decided to try something different. She decided to pray, not for answers, but for the courage to face her emotions head-on. She prayed for the strength to be vulnerable, to be honest, and to be open. And as she prayed, she began to feel a sense of peace that she had never felt before. She began to feel a sense of connection to her child and to the universe that she had never experienced before. Grief often feels like an endless tide, pulling us under with its intensity. For this woman, prayer became her lifeboat, not by silencing her pain, but by teaching her to embrace it. In praying for courage instead of resolution, she discovered the power of surrender. It wasn't about fixing the loss, but learning to carry it with grace. Her connection to her child shifted. It wasn't an absence to grieve, but a bond that transcended the physical world. Emotional prayer transformed her perspective, turning her grief into a sacred space for healing and love. Picture standing in a storm, expecting to be swept away, only to find the wind steadying you, guiding you forward. That's the transformation emotional prayer can bring to overwhelming loss. As she continued to pray, she began to realize that her grief was not something to be feared, but something to be acknowledged and honored. She realized that her emotions were not something to be hidden, but something to be expressed and released. And as she did, she began to feel a sense of freedom and liberation that she had never felt before. She began to feel like she could breathe again, like she could live again. Honoring grief is an act of profound bravery. This woman's journey reminds us that emotions, even the painful ones, are not our enemies. They are guides. By expressing and releasing them, she didn't lose her pain, but redefined it. Her emotional prayer became a ritual of liberation, lifting the suffocating weight of unspoken sorrow. Each prayer deepened her understanding of herself and her capacity to heal, transforming grief from a shadowy prison into a catalyst for a renewed sense of life. Think of a tightly coiled spring. The act of releasing it isn't about letting go completely, but finding the balance where tension becomes energy. Prayer helps us harness even our heaviest emotions this way. I know that emotional prayer may seem daunting, especially if you're new to prayer or spirituality. But I want to encourage you to take the first step. Take a few minutes each day to sit in silence, to breathe deeply, and to allow yourself to feel your emotions. Don't try to hide or suppress them. Just allow yourself to feel. And as you do, begin to pray. Pray from your heart. Pray from your soul. And pray with every fiber of your being. Pray for the courage to be vulnerable, to be honest, and to be open. The beginning of emotional prayer isn't grand or complicated. It's gentle, a whisper that grows stronger with each practice. It starts with stillness, allowing yourself to feel the weight of your emotions without judgment. In this space, prayer becomes a companion, guiding you toward understanding and courage. It's not about saying the right words. It's about speaking the truth in your heart. Each breath you take is an act of trust, and each prayer becomes a step closer to the peace you seek. Picture standing at the edge of a quiet lake at sunrise. The stillness is overwhelming at first, but as the light rises, you feel its warmth and calm embrace. That's the invitation of emotional prayer, to bask in the quiet strength of presence. In conclusion, I want to leave you with a challenge today. I want to challenge you to embrace emotional prayer in your own life. I want to challenge you to take the first step, to be vulnerable and to be open. I want to challenge you to allow yourself to feel your emotions and to pray from your heart. Because I truly believe that if you do, you'll experience a transformation in your life that you never thought possible. Challenges, when embraced, can lead to remarkable growth. This challenge to embrace emotional prayer is not about achieving perfection, but about taking that first, courageous step. Vulnerability, though it may feel like weakness, is the gateway to authenticity and profound connection. When you allow yourself to fully experience your emotions, joy, pain, fear, or hope, you unlock the door to healing and transformation. Emotional prayer doesn't promise an absence of hardship, but it offers the strength to navigate life's storms with grace and resilience. Imagine climbing a steep mountain trail. Each step feels uncertain, but with every stride, the view becomes clearer and the summit comes into focus. That's the journey of emotional prayer. It's not easy, but it's profoundly rewarding. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a breakthrough through emotional prayer? Share your story with me, and let's continue the conversation. And if you're looking for more content on spiritual growth, be sure to check out my other video on cultivating mindfulness in everyday life. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Sharing these thoughts isn't just about my story. It's about sparking something in yours. Emotional prayer is deeply personal, yet profoundly universal. Your breakthroughs, your moments of clarity, and your struggles matter, and I'd love to hear them. By sharing, we create a community of growth, a space where each person's story becomes an inspiration for others. Together, we can explore not just prayer, but mindfulness, gratitude, and all the tools that help us grow into our most authentic selves. Think of a campfire surrounded by people on a cold night. Each person adds their own log to keep the fire burning brighter and warmer for all. Your story is that log, bringing light and warmth to our shared journey. You've already made the incredible step of engaging with this message. Whether you're just starting or have been practicing emotional prayer for years, your journey matters. Leave a like if this spoke to your heart, and share it with someone who might need this encouragement. By doing so, you're not just interacting, you're helping to spread a message of healing and hope. Let's build a space where everyone feels empowered to embrace their emotions and find peace within. Imagine planting a single seed and watching it grow into a tree whose shade and fruit benefit countless others. That's the power of spreading positivity and support through our actions and words.